You're listening to the Ready or Not Community Podcast, created by the community, for the community. We discuss a wide range of topics, from general discussion all the way to developer interviews about the game. And the best part about it is that anyone can join, even you.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're having a really nice day. Today we're gonna have some less guys. We got Durek. He wasn't there for the last time.
Yep. So, yeah.
Durek is a YouTuber. Subscribe, like, and share.
I didn't say it. He said it.
I said that. We got Martin. He was there last time. The guy with the really nice
it's good on people.
And we got a guest. We got Triggered Happiness.
Oh.
So I think we're just gonna start with the first question or topic we're having, and that's gonna be the PvP in Ready or Not. What you guys think about it? How will it be?
Well, I mean, we don't exactly know what it's going to be like. I mean, I don't remember if they actually said anything about it, but if it's anything like SWAT 4, it's going to be very interesting. I took part in like a SWAT 4 PvP session, and they just kept tossing stingers left and right just to like arrest them because they get more points when it comes to cuffing rather than actually shooting them.
Oh yeah, so they just went for their kills.
No. They tried stinging. They tried stinging before they actually went for the kill.
Okay. So some
because they get more points. Yeah. They get more points by cuffing than they actually, kill them.
I think it'll be potentially good to see, PvP being fully adopted to its full extent. But it just depends how the community actually adopts it and takes it into their own hands. You know what I mean? Of course, things like the way they play, the way gadgets and stuff are used, the way people they insert themselves into the operation or whatever situation it is. I think that strongly depends on, how it's really going to play out with PvP. I think it'll be good. No doubt, I think it'll be good. But it's just, of course, unfortunately, we've seen like other games, tactical shooters is more like a steep learning curve with these things, but people should be able to get over that.
I mean, it would be quite interesting to see how they're gonna like make the whole PvP thing like how it's gonna work, because something like Rainbow Six where it's like 5v5, 8 versus 2, or like not 8 versus 2, like bomb defuse or hostage rescue, and
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it 8 versus 8?
Yeah, no, yeah, that will be a thing. Like I think
because I remember it was like 8 versus 8 or 10 versus 10 or something like that. But they said that like 2 people would sit on the bench or something.
Yeah, like some exchange guys. Oh yeah.
Like I didn't get what that meant when I first read that. I was like, what does that mean?
I think they got maybe some different kind of loadout, and they can like say, okay, you're gonna hop in for that guy, and that guy is going out. I mean, that
again, is PvP gonna be two really annoyed SWAT elements that saying, you know what? Off and just start shooting each other? Is it going to be there's going to be some sort of law to it? Is it going to be like some sort of well armed or neck and neck kind of scenario with let's say some sort of paramilitary wing group against law enforcement? How's that going to work out? I think I would like to know that, because PvP could be literally anything. I mean, with law wise, could be so like we had in SWAT 4 reskin SWAT models and stuff like that. It's going to be like that. Are we going to have just 2 SWAT teams go at it, maybe like with a red tag on, maybe just to identify who's who, but
honestly,
it's a really good question.
Honestly, I hope like this gonna be like not like Rainbow Six where it's like 2 SWAT or special operation teams fighting each other. I hope that's gonna be more like, okay, they're gonna be like 8 guys fighting 2 guys, and those 2 guys, they have another whole different objective than the SWAT team. And for the SWAT team, the objective is going to either arrest them or, kill them. That would be quite interesting to see, like, that you can play as a criminal or, like, act like a criminal, and the other team kind of needs to stop you. That would be, like...
Possibly.
Yo, Triggered, do you have any thoughts on this, Triggered? Or are you just, Triggered? You got any thoughts on this? the multiplayer? The multiplayer for, yeah.
I just hope it's just the sorry, I have to clear my throat for a second here. I just hope that the PvP is just like, what was it? Just SWAT versus like some heavily armed paramilitary group. Because a special ops group versus a special ops group just looks kind of off.
Yeah.
And it's just this whole special ops versus special ops thing is just like, it's something like some fucking VR simulation would have to set up for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather not have it like SWAT versus SWAT. I mean, I would rather have it maybe something like a competitive side that would be interesting. You know, like if, for example, whether or not if they want to go for esports at one point, or if there's a possibility for going to make the like Ready or Not esport game. I think making SWAT versus SWAT is by far the easiest way for them to do it like that.
I think SWAT versus SWAT would more be leaning towards the how do I say it, more competitive side of things. I think it'd just more draw to a competitive audience because with most tactical games, it's pretty much you need everyone to be neck and neck with gadgets and also logistical equipment, firearms, and kit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, it's about just how you apply those weapons and your tactics with it. If we had a paramilitary group versus a SWAT team, we can say at the same time they're neck and neck, but let's say law-wise with training and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the thing is that at the same time, is a paramilitary organization really going to be neck and neck with, let's say, the average SWAT officer? Do you know what I mean? That may cause a bit of game-changing kind of things gameplay-wise with PvP, but hey, we're just going to have to see.
Well, what would you be expecting? Like some kind of fundamentalist group that's just like running around in robes, or like?
Well, bozos with BDUs on and AKMs and stuff. That's what I really consider a paramilitary wing kind of organization. Do you know what I mean? Who would just want some sort of political change in the world kind of thing. But of course, you wouldn't expect them to be running around with military grade kit. Sure, we'll see plate carriers and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But of course, a few flaws are definitely going to be here and there comparing it to a SWAT uniform. So that's obviously going to have the game-changing kind of effect to it.
You know what I was thinking about? Something. Imagine they would do it like that. They're going to be like different criminal organization, and your team at the beginning of the match, they have to pick. So for example, like the Italian mafia, the Yakuza, or maybe something completely different, like a militia.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, they need to pick it. And those different criminal organizations, they have different perks or aspects that like are completely different from other organizations. I would really love to see something like that, because that's like, I would say, law friendly for SWAT. That's kind of realistic.
I think that really does link with PvP, because it could mean that you're having more of a chance to get the upper hand when you're using those tactics that apply to, let's say, your said group. Do you know what I mean? Stuck up kind of, robbers with stub noses in their trousers, do you know what I mean, to some sort of massive paramilitary ring organization that's got guys on, maybe veterans or trained in law enforcement in the past. You never know, that kind of thing. That would be interesting to see, because your tactics apply differently, also depending on where the scenario is. So player versus player, that may change a lot of things. But of course, still, again, you want it to be very fair. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, he's just asked a good question. What about the modes? What do you guys think of the like kind of mode will be seen in multiplayer?
Well, like I said, with that, what is it? Where I don't remember what the mode was called, but it was, they were just like tossing like a bunch of stingers at each other, and the whole point was that I think it's like one point if you kill somebody, but if you actually cuff them, that's 5 points. So what you want to do is go for cuffing. And by the way that you do that is by disorienting them by getting stingers or flashbangs. That's barricade? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one mode, but I don't remember the rest of the modes that are from SWAT 4.
I think that's actually a really good thing to bring up, because with modes, I'm thinking, of course, has to be law friendly. We can't exactly have a SWAT team planting a bomb in a church or hospital. Just be like, it's like, what?
Well, you can't play as, like, I'm sure the way that it goes is that the SWAT team always starts on the outside, whereas the paramilitary forces starts in the inside, or, like, I'm just guessing that the players switch around to either side. It's not the the SWAT and the paramilitary force that goes in.
It would also like, how do I put this into better words? It would kind of ease out the gameplay, because you're not really going to have the arrest kind of thing going when you're against a paramilitary wing organization. There's not going to be like, you're not going to take those chances. It's going to be a lot more competitive. There's none of this hands up to get on the ground. It's just shoot, bang, bang until the situation is diffused.
I'm going to lean out and say I'm not saying they should add like the exact same mode, the exact same way Rainbow Six is doing that, but something like bomb defusal or hostage rescue. I know that's gonna lean a lot on Rainbow Six, but I'm thinking about more something like the criminals, or like the defenders, I would say. They can move the hostage all around the building. They can place barricades. They could like use traps or something like that. They could like.
Oh, they actually didn't say that there was traps in the game though that much, did they?
Oh,
It
I
could
don't
be
know.
though. I think that might be a
Yeah.
surprise.
I mean, there could be like they could be telling us false information for all we know. But like,
Yeah.
as far as the devs have said, I don't think that there is.
Hmm.
And he's just posted all the modes. It seems like from SWAT 4.
VIP escort will actually be quite interesting as well, though. If I might bring that up, because it could be that the VIP is armed and he can
Mhm.
rely on himself, of course, with lower caliber firearms, so he can just kind of deter the enemy from, just giving him a good eye and, kind of drawing him out. Or it could be the VIP is completely vulnerable and he has to rely on, let's say, whoever's got the most power, like the team leader, the point man, whatever, who's leading him, to point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about it gameplay wise, though, I don't think anyone would play as someone who's unarmed. You know what I mean? So that could maybe fall into the AI's kind of control. So the AI is probably, following you guys around. You could tell him the basic command: stop, follow, go here, hide there, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that Ready or Not usually takes the SWAT 4's gameplay for the most part, right? I mean, I have to wonder if there's any new modes that are getting added. Like, is there going to be anything that's different at all?
I mean, if they're gonna add more content in it, so it's completely different. What I hope, because if you play bomb defusal, I don't want to have like in Rainbow Six, like those specific points where the bomb is planted. You know what I mean? So you can choose yourself at the setup mission before, like while the SWAT is doing the recon stuff, that you can set up the bomb wherever you want in the building and maybe cover it. Like there's an option to kind of disguise the bomb so it doesn't look so obvious.
Oh,
That would be actually quite cool to see, I think, if for the bomb defusal mode.
I think the best way to conclude like this, I think, would be it's unfair, but then very forgiving and satisfying in the end. I think that'd be very good for PvP and Ready or Not, because it'd make itself stand out if you've got this barrier between it's very unforgiving, but when you've got the upper hand by really trying, it's very rewarding. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, because I don't think that there's a multiplayer that's like Ready or Not.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, like the most that I've ever seen from that kind of gameplay is from SWAT 4, but I could be wrong. I mean, the world is big. I don't know.
All right, so moving on to the next one that we've been talking about is tactics for room clearing.
Oh.
So of course, things like formation, how the element goes in, flashbang, stingers. How do you think that should work in Ready or Not? Should it be different? Maybe should it be like exempt from different kind of scenarios or something? Do you mean how's that going to work?
Well, the previous game, not previous game, the
SWAT
4. Yeah. What you first do is you get an Opti wand. I mean, this is if you like want to go in all tactical, like, if you want to go in all tactical, like, what you first start with is an Opti wand to look underneath the door to see what's actually in the area.
Oh yeah. You mean the window camera thingy?
Yeah. I also hear that there's like a new drone system.
That would be quite interesting to see how that gonna works out.
Yeah, like how is that gonna work? Because if that thing's like flying around, I feel like that's like a moving target. They'll just like, what the hell is that?
But still, I mean, this is the thing. It's unforgiving because it can either be you go in and you can get shot down, but at the same time, you now know that someone's there. Someone is watching wherever you've been shot from. So this could be just a matter of, like I said, with the headcam thing. It's at the same time unforgiving and unfiltered and relentless, but at the same time it can really help you even when you don't expect it.
I have to wonder, is it going to cost us points if we plant a breaching charge on the door and it hits somebody? Like, does that cost us points? Because in SWAT 4 it did if they were like right next to the door, but if they were like a distance away, it would disorient them.
Well, I hope they're gonna be like you're gonna lose points, obviously, because if you use I used in the military and we pretty much did stuff like that. If you use breaching charges, you gotta be sure that behind there's no civilian. That's why you rather kick it in. Because if you blow up that fucking door and someone is behind it and that person is get hurt, you're probably gonna get like the shit on. Like that's pretty much how they're gonna end. What's quite interesting is that most of the times they don't use explosive in SWAT units. They rather use breaching rams. In the military, we used most of the time breaching rams. I think explosives are more for the feds. Most of the time they use it like for I would rather say hostages is rather unlikely them using breaching charges. Maybe to blow up.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the C2 I think is fictional, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
No, it depends what you know what you mean. Do you know what I mean? Because of course, some sort of explosive charge is definitely used by some sort of law enforcement agency in the world. Do you know what I mean? It just depends what it is. Of course, depends what you consider an explosive device. I mean, you've got stingers which can damage people if they're close to their face or body or even hands. Do you know what I mean? If you
yeah.
pull the pin and just keep it cooking, they can absolutely destroy your hand. And I think with room clearing, it's going to be really interesting to see how, let's say like static hostages and stuff like that, if they're injured by stingers, how is that going to affect them? Like if they're maybe like blind or anything, they're injured, they're maybe confused, like, maybe commanding them to do certain actions will be much more difficult because they're disorientated. Like, that may be something that's quite important.
If they're disoriented and we're just yelling at them to get on the floor, is there going to be a chance of them just like randomly like shooting their gun around? Like, do we have to physically go in and like put them down?
Well, that would be quite interesting to see. Like, you mean something like they get shocked and at that time they squeeze the trigger,
like they're just squeezing the trigger, but they don't know where to shoot.
I think that's where the room clearings part falls in, really, with just the way the element actually handles the situation. You could go and shout and get down the ground by like 5 different guys, and you got these stingers and flashbangs topping off. He's going to be confused. There is probably a good chance that if he has an Uzi or a Mac-10 or some sort of automatic weapon, if he does a discharge, it's going to be very dangerous, right? Because he could get a hostage, officer, whoever's around, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make people think twice before they say, you know what, open it, bang it, just like SWAT Forge. I mean, you didn't really think about it. You just thought, when we get in there, whoever's around, we're going to be mauling them with pepper spray, punching them, kicking them until they submit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in this game it won't be like that. Maybe you're going to have to actually think before you start opening doors and running in.
Yep.
Yeah. What I learned in my military times is when you do close quarter combats, even if the enemy got a pistol, he's gonna be all the way up there from his tactical standpoint. He will have all the advantages. Even if you start with all the shit you have, like battering rams, explosive charges, or stinger nades, you're gonna start like from the bottom, and you kind of try to have the same level as he do. So, well, pretty much, I want to have it like that. The close quarter combats in Ready or Not, that for every step you do, even if you just go straight through the floor, you have to consider every single possibility that there's an enemy. Just that you have, for each room, you have a different plan. So you need to think. Like, close quarter combat is a lot of thinking and a lot of knowing your angles. So I really want to see something like that in the.
That's a really good point, because I've seen on some of the development YouTube videos, they've got things like the optical motion capture previews, and they have like just the way SWAT officers are set to certain waypoints when they're entering a room that's obviously been commanded to be breached, and just the way it's so fluid and smooth.
911.
Yeah.
How is different people of the element going to be reacting to this? Do you know what I mean? What if the first man is shot when he goes right in? Do you know what I mean? He's just got a bullet straight to his head, right? How is the other person who's meant to go in right after him react? Is he going to be taking his position, and is someone else going to be controlling his previous position? Or is it going to be, they're going to be interchangeable and they're going to react in different ways that are like drastic, they're fast, snappy, and they'll know how to react to a different situation if it goes south?
Yeah.
Well, that's
ARs are important, with breaching situations, because they still have to be capable to do it.
these AIs are supposed to act like humans, and humans are usually unpredictable. So I mean, if this isn't those type of those areas, then I don't know what is, right?
Talking about like close quarter combat, I just sent like a video of Void Interactive that pretty much sums up what I meant with angles. So I mean, for those that are still listening to the stream, or like I don't know how we're gonna do it later. Yeah, for the podcast later, if you're gonna upload it. I'm just gonna explain what you can see. There's a SWAT officer that is kind of doing like a swift move. He's turning inside the door and he's like aiming all around the floor. What you can see, he's pretty much doing what you get taught in the military or the police forces. He's doing a full 360 view of the room. So he's watching all the angles. You can clearly see that before he goes inside the room, he's like checking every single angle. And that's what I love about Ready or Not, that they implemented something like that. Because what I've seen in most modern games, Arma 3, Rainbow Six, it's just like you are in, you you kind of watch left, right, and that's it. What you do here in Ready or Not, it's just more like the tactical approach of room clearing. You go in, you check every angle, and you move on. And I think that's on point. What we see in the video, it's really on point. That's what you would see in like a real life situation.
Well, we also have to understand that these videos are a bit outdated by this point, so we don't know how it actually is now.
Yeah. That one is outdated. Hold on.
Yeah. They've said that all the newer videos with like the the little clips have been outdated. Like they're now different, according to them.
Probably.
All right, so moving on to a more interesting kind of part of this
interesting too.
podcast. How will PTSD or post-traumatic stress or some sort of morale system, how will that work in the game? And how do you think they'll execute it in Ready or Not?
I think like what we've seen so far in the trailer, I hope that this is still some part of the game. We see that one scene, which honestly shocked me the most. I was not expecting to see that in the game, where they open the container and you see like humans that look like, okay, that's gonna sound not PC correctly, even if I'm German. They looked like Auschwitz.
Underfed, just unmalnourished.
Another thing is like the ambience music. So like when you actually see something that looks fucking terrifying, like the music comes up in like kind of like a dark tone.
Something I think you guys need to not forget, and also people who are watching or listening to the podcast, is that it's not just the police who have this PTSD. It's even the criminals themselves. That post-traumatic stress, it affects everyone. I think the way they're executed, I mean, they can do it with audibly. I mean, you can audibly tell when a criminal's, let's say, losing morale. Let's say, he may get aggravated. He may start, attacking innocent people. I mean, this may even affect the score of your operation, scenario very badly. Also, the way they react to things, they may be a lot more snappy, quick. Do you know what I mean? Instead of course, if you get the drop on him already, if you scared him, blowing, his friend's brains all over the floor. Do you know what I mean? And he's already
they're paranoid,
and he's popped a bunch of pills. He's gonna be absolutely paranoid. And considering the people you're against in Ready or Not, and all the scenarios, I wouldn't be surprised if these things come into effect.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to see.
I wonder if this is going to be like affected on the point system. Maybe like if they're going to
possibly. I mean,
I would love to see something like that.
They haven't got into specifics as to how that works for the most part. I'd imagine there's a shit ton of scenarios.
Morale for the teammates, I'm not sure how that will work. It may take effect, but I just don't know when that could.
Yeah,
you may lose morale when not when someone is injured or killed. I think it's when you take like substantial damage because of things like like morale losing, of course, from like that being absolutely your haze and your head's hurting from being shot in the head, and also you luckily survived the headshot. That may be something with morale, but I'm not sure that may take effect because you got the damage system for that. So how is it going to adapt for a SWAT unit? You can have it audibly with, let's say, short lines of saying, "Oh, that's fucked up," or I'm getting sick of this," whatever his name is, Alabama or whatever. Jeremy, some sort of social kind of connection towards the teammates and each other. But other than that, how can you represent morale to your team and cause some sort of effect?
Like the only possible way I have is like that the SWAT, or maybe if this is more like the morale will be probably more based for the AI, I think. That some way they're gonna act slower, just care a little bit less about their surroundings. I mean, if you see something like that, you're shocked. Yeah, that's the word that I was trying to say. You shocked.
Around fanatics.
Exactly. Yeah, you're shocked. You're completely out of this world. You can't imagine something like that happening in the real world. But this is reality. Technically, this is something that can still be seen today, and I think it would be quite interesting to see if the AI will react to something like that, some sort of comment. I mean, even a comment would be enough for me to see.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I think also like especially the way someone can be overwhelmed as a human being. I think if we take it as an example, let's say we're in boot camp. It may sound far-fetched, but let's just take this into account, right? People are bawling and shouting you from different directions. You've been told to get on the floor, get up, get down, right?
Yeah.
We take the situation into a much more serious scenario, and this guy knows, this could be game over for me if I, take the wrong step.
Oh, yeah.
He could be confused. He could let off a firearm by accident. He maybe might get on the ground and stand up again. He could be paranoid. He might just stand there and do nothing. He might drop the gun and just absolutely start breaking down in front of you. Do you know what I mean? I think it's quick time events like that, and just the way morale and stuff and PTSD would be combined together. I think the best way we could call this is now just morale, really, because morale is pretty much.
I have to wonder.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I said
Finish up.
Morale is just really, I think, the best way to put it, really, because once you lose morale, you're pretty much losing your sanity, really, and obviously your basic rational thinking, because you're going to be taking much more risks without actually considering and validating them. But yeah, go ahead.
I have to wonder how in depth they're actually going to go with that system, because after a mission,
Yeah.
after
I think you want to say from the gameplay's point of view that it's getting a little bit annoying at one point.
I mean, it's a really cool idea, but I don't know how the devs are, how close to reality that they're trying to make it, because I know that SWAT isn't, or Ready or Not isn't supposed to be like a full-on simulation.
Yeah.
It's at one point, do you stop being real and start being a game? So it's a really cool idea, but at the same time, they're a tiny team, and how far do they really get into that?
Yeah, I think it should be exempt with, of course, PvP and player versus player, but with AI, I think you should go ahead and add them. But like player versus player, it may just be like a bit just too much of a hassle, really. Do you know what I mean? Your character starts panicking, he just starts creeping out and everything. It's just
for
really...
the campaign that would be fun to see something like that in the campaign. But other than that, I think there should be an option if this is implemented. I'm not 100% sure if this is already implemented, something like morale in the game. There should be like the option to turn it on and off. And I actually want to say one more thing about PTSD, because PTSD today is like a big thing, and this is like not a joke at all. I would love to see them at least one or two organizations to give them credit for their work, because PTSD is such a big thing in law enforcement. Each day, like every different country, like law enforcement, veterans, even first responders, they suffer from PTSD. And when I was in my military time, we had like actually one guy that killed himself. I know this is a touchy theme, so I would love to see them give credit for the organizations that work with those veterans and first responders, because I think PTSD is like I think that's not
looked up upon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I would really love to see that. I know that was kind of dark theme, like a kind of dark topic, and I think we should head to another one, because I don't want to get too emotional on this bit podcast. Anyways, what kind of that topic we have?
Missions, characters.
Characters. What kind of characters? I think it's kind of connected from the beginning of the podcast where we talked about.
Again, we can just say the same thing now. It's just we've already answered this, but we could go into detail now. It's just it obviously depends on the scenario, who we're against, what's the main objective of, let's say, who's the perpetrator of, let's say, said crime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no.
You're not gonna see a guy who's got military uniform on, robbing a gas station with a helmet on and everything. That's gonna be more of a higher level crime. You know what I mean? You can compare that to now present day. Let's say more Second Amendment groups and all those sorts of organizations and stuff, which have that kind of adequate firearms, equipment and training and logistics. I think that'd be where it become more of a realistic kind of thing. I think you guys can add up on that, but scenarios though.
Characters.
When you say missions, do you mean?
The characters we're gonna see in the mission. The characters we're gonna see.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about like the main villains in each mission?
Exactly. Like the personalities, the background. For example, what I would love to see is maybe some situation where we see like a veteran that is like kind of messed up because of what he's seen. And
if we look at the Instagram, we could already see a couple of characters, like that one Mexican-looking guy with all the tattoos.
Yes, yeah.
I can't even imagine what that could possibly be about. Maybe he's like a gang member.
I'd rather say
cartel. From what I've actually researched, guys, is it's a state code name for someone who's actually psychotic and insane. It's actually called 5150. So if you see on the caption, it says 5150. I heard they're removing some of the insignia for, of course, certain countries. I mean, because I think we know, some of these things quite unfiltered and uncensored. But I think it's for them. It could be anything because it said, psychotic. But the standard individual would consider that person a psycho. So that could be anything. That could be drug abuse, domestic abuse, child abuse, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
That could be anything. But I'll share that image now. Actually, I'll get that image up. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, are you talking about the image from the Instagram pic or some other pic?
Yeah, the guy with the still fucking tattoo on his head.
The skull tattoo, you mean, or what do you mean? The guy that looks like a couple
You
member?
guys have tattoos there, but I think they're all from the same group.
I have to wonder: is that chick where it says "wrong crowd"? Is she a bad person too?
Oh, I haven't seen that picture. I think
it's right next to the still fucking one.
I think that they're actually all from the same group. Really, I think this could be even a gang. Maybe I think these are like a bunch of maybe bikers. Maybe you never know.
Oh yeah, someone just pinned me, dinged me, and said maybe that person is undercover. Maybe an undercover.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Shout out to read the FAQ. She just said that to me. That's actually a quite interesting point to see. Will we see something like undercover police officers that we definitely not allowed to shoot? That would be quite interesting to know that if there's something like that. I would love to see something like that.
Maybe even an undercover operation going wrong, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe some sort of
Oh, wrong crowd. It's an undercover person that's in the wrong crowd. Maybe. It could be. It's a possibility.
Some sort of hostage rescue, but that person got a gun, so they got at one point there will be able to help you to get them out. That would be
that mission. Yeah. What if that mission is to rescue that informant?
Informant or undercover cop?
Yeah, same difference.
I could imagine seeing that. I could see that. That would be quite. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
actually a really good idea. Even if it's wrong or whatever, I think that's still a really good idea.
Oh yeah,
that's actually a really good use of the caption. I
can see that.
I think that's accurate.
I've always been looking at that picture. I'm like, what could this possibly mean? You guys just gave me the idea.
I mean, I think at one point, the Unstoppable asked, what about the entry-level suspects and suspect with formal training, and the difference between them will be very obvious: weapon handling gear, etc. What do you guys think will be their weapons?
What, for entry level?
Oh, you were quoting the FAQ. Oh, okay, no. Yeah, no, my bad. He was quoting the FAQ. But for the entry, like, what kind of enemy suspects do you think we will see in the game? More like trained, or more like?
Well, I think it's going to be a gradual thing. I think we'll go from, let's say, like I always use this a lot, just some morons from Detroit with a snub nose in their trousers, Jeremy, who have nothing better to do than rob a gas station for a bit of pocket money. Then we go to some sort of crazy paramilitary group that wants to bomb an airport. Do you know what I mean? So you have that slow but eventual transition to where things become more serious, and the actions you do dictate, what's going to happen next. So it just leads into the story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of a sudden change to go from like people with like civilian clothing on and maybe like a pistol to like a freaking full body armor.
But it's eventual. It's eventual. Do you know what I mean? We go from this petty crimes that need obviously some sort of armed response, drug dealing. Then we go on to taking down gangs. From gangs to taking down firearm, let's say factories and stuff that are completely illegal. But
then again, that kind of fits in with the idea of anything can happen. Like, you can be trying to take out a guy that just has like a pistol, but then some other guy with like body armor just comes out of nowhere and like, what the hell?
For the guys that just joined the podcast right now, we're talking about the different suspects, and we're gonna see in the mission and what their loadout will be. So yeah, sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
But yeah, it could depend. But that's actually a really good point. Just because they have home clothes on doesn't mean they're exempt from having big firearms. You know what I mean? You could have a guy with a Glock 19, then his friend comes out with an AK.
Comes out with an AK, fully body armored. He's basically wearing all the stuff that Tachanka wore, like that kind of.
Yeah,
Juggernaut.
Well, not that far. Do you know what I mean? But having that kind of unpredictableness of the situation.
Yeah.
Of course, they still have to look very similar because, of course, they're individually motion captured, given their own individual clothes and uniforms.
Mhm.
What I
They could have anything. Someone could run out of, some sort of trap house with a shotgun out the window. There's all sorts of things that could happen. So,
when I want to go in the level, like the mission, I just want to be like, what the fuck just happened? I thought they're gonna be like unprepared and have like barely any guns. I wasn't expecting that. So some sort that you need always to be cautioned about your next step. Like, I'm expecting them to only have pistols, and suddenly one comes out with the fucking, okay, that's gonna be exaggerated, but he comes out with the RPG.
Misinformation from the top.
Yeah.
Misinformation from the top.
What?
Misinformation from the top.
Misinformation.
Because they give you information and they think that it's correct.
Oh yeah,
but when
yeah.
you
yeah.
actually go in there, it's completely false. Like, holy shit, there's more stuff than we thought.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's something I would really love to see in the game. Like, even if you expect something like pistols, Glocks, maybe an AK, at the end he's coming out with a really machine gun. I don't know. I want to be surprised. I really want to be surprised.
Well, some scenarios, like some of these scenarios in the woods and stuff, like you see in the wood scenes, that could be some sort of, like, let's say, ridiculous, some sort of left wing or right wing group that's saying, you know what, we're not going to put our guns down. You're not going to come and fight us, fair and square. And that's where you might see machine guns and all sorts of, legally or somewhat, fishy kind of potentially legal weapons. Do you know what I mean? Like converted MAC-10s, converted, let's say, assault rifles that shoot automatics, those types of things. That's where it might make sense with law-wise. Because then, it could be anything. Seizing firearms and stuff. They're not just having a machine gun. Sometimes you see in these police raids, they don't just have a machine gun just because it's a machine gun. They're going to use it somehow. So, if they're going to have to give everything up eventually to some sort of SWAT team who's coming after them, they might just use it.
Do you think there would be the ability to, like, that you get shot at, you drop down, and at the same time you drop your gun, and the suspect tries to grab your gun, or like, just like the suspect tries to grab your gun?
It would be interesting, though.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. I'd like to see
Because
if you don't, how do I say this, control and apprehend a suspect properly, he may try and defend himself. So when you're not looking, he may grab a chair leg or some sort of, maybe something like a small, like maybe a flintlock, some sort of flintlock pistol, whatever, something funny, something, because it's unpredictable again. Some sort of handgun, chair leg, stick, rock, anything. Because, they're not going to give up. Some people, they're different. Another guy might just throw his weapon and say, look, I give up. Another guy might say, you're going to have to fucking take me down and kill me. So he might grab a rock or some sort of, even maybe a replica firearm that's on a wall in a museum, maybe. And it will try and do anything he can to stop getting into the hands of the law.
Because, like, what I've seen so far, most of the times that suspects get shot is because, like in the USA, is because they try to either grab the taser of the police officer or his gun, and because this is like such a high risk situation, the officer is like, he is forced to shoot. I would love to see like some option that they go for your gun. They don't try to shoot you or like kill you. They just try to grab your gun, and from that point, for you maybe, yourself, the officer, he needs to decide whether do I shoot him and kill him.
Of course, hand-to-hand combat is very uncommon. Do you know what I mean? Of course, because it's
Yeah.
very rare. If it does happen, it's going to be very bloody, because most of the time it's when you get him on the floor, you're going to have your friend let him up with about 30 rounds of STANAG. Do you know what I mean? But you're not really... The thing is, out of all the people that have been in real SWAT units and armed police response units, there's probably like a minuscule microscopic margin that have actually had hand-to-hand combat situations where they generally had to fight for their lives. Not get someone on the floor. I'm talking fighting for your life.
Yeah.
But applying that to Ready or Not,
that's hard. That's really hard to do, actually.
Maybe in a drastic situation, you hit him with the butt of your gun. Okay, it's improfessional, right? But it's
I mean, unfortunately, there's no melee in the game, so it's kind of
like at this point they said like maybe they're gonna.
I mean,
later.
It's not out of the realm of ideas, but at the moment, it's not in the game, which is kind of unfortunate.
It's not implemented to the game right now at that point. But talking about the like trying to fight and survive for like fight for your life, I wonder how if this is implemented, how this is gonna work out. Like some sort of, do you need to press a lot of buttons on your keyboard, or like or do you need to click fast, or do you need to shoot him, or like I would love to.
Yeah, quick,
I want
quick draw. I think the
Yeah,
best thing you'll get is either a pistol whip or the stocky rifles going into that criminal's face.
Yeah,
Because
that'd
that's
be
really what
interesting.
you do when you realize that you've got no knife, you've got none of that. You're not some sort of military operation or regiment or
Yeah.
battalion. You're a police officer. You will do anything in your right to do it. If you can't taser him, that don't work. You shoot him and he's still running at you. He's got this adrenaline running through his blood.
Oh
What
yeah.
else are you gonna do? You're gonna whoop his ass with the back of your weapon.
Well, I mean, your job is to
Yeah, it may be
cuff him,
unprofessional, but
cuff
this
him,
is
and then
extreme.
take him in. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it different from SWAT? Because I mean, usually they just shoot people, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like in a very drastic situation, and this just like the negotiations are out the window. This guy's insane. My bullets are not doing anything. I mean, he's still fighting me. My taser don't work. What can you do? Do you know what I mean? Sure, you can have a hand-to-hand fight with him, but you're gonna beat the living crap out of him until he submits and puts his hands behind his back. So a very simple motion of just tapping a button and doing some sort of hit with the back of with the stock of the gun. It's simple, but it should be some sort of drastic measure you can take.
But something that you need to do quick. If they implement it, that must be like a quick reaction from your side. If he grabs your gun, you must be quick. Either you kick him in the face or you shoot him. Like one of those action.
You put a bullet in him, or you just push him back.
Yeah, exactly. And it's you to decide what you do. Like real quick, maybe like 2 seconds time, or maybe 1 second.
Your call. Exactly. Your call.
Exactly. I mean, that would be really cool to see. All right. I think we drift off quite far away from the topic.
No, I think that's really good though, because of course I can link it back right now. It's just depending on the characters, really, you can have a different reaction. Of course,
considering that, yes, then yeah. I mean, yeah, I could imagine that. Talking about characters, do you think it should be more like drug addicts or in
I want all of it. Honestly, I want all of it.
They're gonna act differently, like have maybe more health. I don't want to call it health, because if you talk about health,
definitely
imagine like a health bar. I just want to see
it may sound funny, but
yeah,
the guys who have bit of pot bellies and a bit of fat on them, they might even be a big of a problem, because things like tasers and non-lethals may not actually work because, of course, all the fat and all the blubber they've got on them. Funny enough,
tasers won't work. They come faster.
Especially also being intoxicated, it doesn't get to your nervous system. Tasers, because of course it's very important for a taser to actually get someone down. People who are heavily intoxicated, drugged, or very, very big, I'm talking very big, sometimes they can't feel tasers. Or people who are very, very lucky and blessed, it's for them.
Yeah.
A taser,
well, tasers don't actually make you feel pain. They just restrict your nervous system and the muscles.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
VP, by the way.
Yeah, guys. VP just joined.
Yeah.
One of the co-hosts. What's up, VP? How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm still ill, mate.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Talking I agree with that. That's like a really good point. Like fat suspects, like thicker suspects, like they should be like big, maybe like not really such a big, but still some. You gotta think about how you're gonna approach them. Honestly, like if you're gonna he could sit on your face and you just get crushed.
So when we actually cuff him, we need 2 cuffs so they actually fit across the backside.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that by the way, that's actually a thing in law enforcement. If the suspect got shot and you need to treat him and he still tries to move his arms, or you need to him to roll around, they actually put 2 cuffs on his hands so he can move his arms a little bit sideways. That would be actually interesting to see in Radio or Not. But I think that should I don't
think so.
I
mean, we can only dream so much, right?
Talking about cuffs, how many cuffs do you think each SWAT officer will have, or if there will be infinite?
Well, they have.
I believe it's been
remember?
Oh yeah, but
unlimited.
sometimes are still limited. Do you think there will be limit?
I think it's been confirmed to be unlimited.
Unlimited?
Well,
okay.
I mean, a cop can carry a shit ton of zip ties, so they can literally just cuff as many people as they want.
I mean, that should be more like a perk, that instead of we had that thing last time, like the conversation about flute light operators and deployable stuff, that at one point you can get more mags, more ammunition, and more zip ties. So it's limited, but you need to decide before the mission how many zip ties you're gonna get, and losing maybe points for your other equipment. That would be quite interesting to see, because I can't imagine just zip tying everyone on the map strategically. That you must be a little bit more strategic how you just like handcuff or zip tie someone. You can just go ahead and just like arrest everybody. See, of course,
Alright,
this
so
must be part. Yeah.
Let's see this. All right, so moving on to the second half of things, map layout for multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
What exactly do you mean? Like,
Yeah, I
like
think
strategic parts?
yeah, strategic. If this should be like more a balanced map or something more realistic, like from because they're going to be obviously two parts, like one attacker and one defender team. We're going to call it like that for the beginning. I think for the SWAT, it should be hard to gain access to the building, and that the building should be more with a lot of angles. So yeah, you need to
we
watch a
gotta-
lot of stuff. Yeah.
Apparently, we got to phone in a special guest. Hey, everybody! Here is Infralock.
Hey everybody, how's
Hey.
it going?
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about map layouts of
Oh, yeah.
Ready or Not.
Yeah.
The topic is basically the same as in SWAT 4. You basically, like it was said before, attacker and defender. We're gonna have the SWAT that are usually attackers, especially in SWAT 4.
Yeah.
Which is actually supposed to be the opposite, but that's okay. So SWAT 4 are attackers. For example, they need to defuse a bomb, so they try to take over a building and eliminate all the suspects. Now we're gonna have probably respawns similar to how SWAT 4 had, 30 seconds respawn waves. So each 30 seconds there's a spawn, and everyone who died in these 30 seconds will respawn. Now I'm gonna can I post up pictures that will be?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Just
just a
like-
second.
Now, Infralock, you obviously know
Yep.
a lot about the multiplayer in SWAT 4 because you seem to play it a lot, or at least the videos that I've seen of your channel, you seem to play a lot of it. So
Yeah, too
I don't.
much.
I know a lot about the co-op part. I don't know too much about the multiplayer part, but I did see like one session. It actually looked pretty fun. So keep going.
All right, so basically the maps have, in single player at least, they have just one or two ways to go through the map. For example, you start from point A, you go to point B, and you have a point C, and from C you cannot connect to A. So multiplayer makes it so you can connect from C to A. So basically you have like a triangle of a few more options. For example, SWAT spawn A and suspect spawn B, and everyone needs to protect C or get to C. So you've got that over there. But suspects need to have C before A. So it's like similar to, for example, Counter-Strike's bomb defusal mode. It's not going to be the same defusal mode because there's just going to be bombs already planted, like 4 bombs, and SWAT are rushing in to defuse. So we've got it like that. 1 second. Trying to put the picture, but it doesn't work.
Oh, you mean?
So let's say, for example, football. In a single player, you have no access to the roof. I'm just going to put the images right here. You have no access to the roof. And in the multiplayer, you suddenly do have. You have a staircase taking you to the roof and another way from the bedroom through the toilets to go also to the roof. So you've got another way. It's like C and A. You can go from C to A right now.
Okay. So you're basically playing in the same map, but the difference is that there's slight differences that make the gameplay different.
Yeah, it
is
makes
what
it
you're trying to say.
playable for multiplayer because it just doesn't make sense that you're just one place to go through with 16 players.
That's actually
Yeah.
So you can like that a little bit,
That's
between
interesting, to be honest.
That's actually pretty interesting because I didn't know that. I thought that the maps were exactly the same. But looking at this picture, there are slight differences, like a gate being opened here or a door where a toilet's supposed to be. That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't know about that.
Let's take, for example, a different map. It's called the Red Library. I also prepared an image. If you're not familiar with, with the map, it's a big map. In SWAT 4, at least, usually the SWAT are starting in the garage, which you cannot see here. It's basically all the way downstairs, and they have to climb up and then go down again in different staircases. So, for example, the leftist is called the server room.
Yeah.
And you can go from an area. I didn't actually picture it, but you can go from the left side to these windows and then go forward to the new staircase. This was only in multiplayer. In single player, you do not have these. In the middle images, they also added a new staircase. And on the right side, you can also see the new door to the new staircase. So basically, in single player, without it, the SWAT would have just one way to climb up and one way to climb down, and that would create a huge clusterfuck, basically. So let's say in Ready or Not, if we add only in single player one way for the suspects to push, this will just create a mess. So the devs should at least create another way or connect between two more areas, and basically create a freedom of moving, and so the players won't feel like they're clustered somewhere. You know.
I have to wonder how close the maps are actually going to be to SWAT 4, or are they just going to do completely different maps? I mean, they would have to, right?
I hope so, at least more than one map. Let's take another map, A-Bomb, for example. This is the last picture I'm posting here because I didn't prepare anymore. You can see that in the leftist image, they created an entire new area behind those big speakers, which they can lead you to the stage, and from the stage you can go down to the dance room, which you could not do in single player. It wasn't an accessible area. And in the rightest images, two images, you can see from the up you have a passageway to the right, and then on the lower image you can see a new door which leads to a room that existed but you couldn't access it from this area, but you can still go around all these props around to this door to the right which was opened in the image. So imagine that in Ready or Not, for example, if you take Ready or Not, you basically just need more areas, maybe change it slightly from the single player, move the props, move them to the other side, and then you get like a new map to play on. You know, on single player you get used to something. Let's say you have a car standing in the alley, and then the car move in multiplayer, so it's like a different type of gameplay.
Oh, you mean like creating corridors with object from the map? You mean? So it's
but they're slightly in different places.
Yeah, I think the devs actually said that a majority of the maps are going to be both in single-player co-op and multiplayer, except for maybe like one or two for multiplayer. But that's pretty interesting, where like the maps are essentially the same, but they add like a specific door that leads into different, or not different, it leads back into the same area. That's going to be pretty cool for the multiplayer part.
Yes, the purpose of it is to make you like you know the map already, so why not playing on it again? Why do you need to play on a completely new map? You have the same map, so you just add a few more doorways, a few more halls, a few more props, or move the props, and you just have a new multiplayer map, and that's all.
I wonder if we should be able to create our own multiplayer maps.
Oh, sure.
Well, you can already create it on UE4. You just do not have the textures and the models for it. So eventually they might release models which you can create maps with, and hopefully we're gonna have a workshop on Steam. I hope
think
so.
they announced that like a workshop thing.
They never announced it, but I really hope they will.
Oh, okay.
It'd be pretty cool if we could play other maps that are made by actual players.
Oh yeah.
But will they do that? Is the question, I guess.
Well, I guess people will. I mean, everyone wants to see all the Rainbow Six maps and SWAT 4 maps as well. Read into Ready or Not. It's gonna be fun if they will exist there.
That would be a good idea. Like that, I would do that. That sounds like fun. Just like
having
creating maps from different games. That would be fun. Or maybe your own home. Where
your own house, your own school or something. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Then we come back.
Maybe, for example, if you take Raven Shield, I never played it, but I've seen some gameplay before the podcast. Just imagine Raven Shield maps in Ready or Not in UE4, Unreal Engine 4, or SWAT 4, which was used in Unreal Engine 2. You can use it in Unreal Engine 4. Just completely new gameplay, new mechanics, new graphics. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
but as long as we're gonna get a workshop and a map editor.
Yeah, I mean a map editor, that would be really nice to see. Like that you get the support from Void to create your own maps. So that would be really insane.
Yeah, and people could like vote it up or vote it down, and then it could be like an official map or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe like Void can make it.
Like a community map pool or something like that. Like, you know,
Yeah, similar to how different games are doing. For example, Counter-Strike or Counter-Strike. You can create maps for the game, and then you can see it in the operation. For example, Bravo, which was like 3 years ago, or other new operations. And people just pick the maps, and the best map gets into the game. Of course, for them it's Valve, and for us it's Void. So Void needs to pick the map, see how the map plays, and then they can pick it in the game, maybe put it officially or for a temporary time in the game.
That'd be really cool. That's a nice idea. All right. So.
And I think that's it for map layouts.
Yeah,
I think we've talked already for some time.
Shall we move to another topic?
Well, thanks for pitching in for Locke, because I don't know too much about SWAT 4's multiplayer. I'm more into like the co-op single player.
Yeah,
it's okay. The next topic is also multiplayer mode, so I can stay.
Fair enough.
Is it? Did we already talked about that at the beginning?
Did you?
Well,
it wasn't
which
here.
one?
I think that was PvP.
Oh yeah. Wait. What's the next thing on the list?
I think
multiplayer modes.
Multiplayer modes, but this was kind of in the beginning. But we still have like the Triggered Happiness. He like the guest for this today podcast.
Yeah, you can talk.
Yeah.
Trigger, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I said that the whole Spec Ops versus Spec Ops thing is like a little off. It's something that a VR simulation would do. But however, though, I just feel like the SWAT versus some evil paramilitary group thing just fits better, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But you had also the question about the guns, I think, and that's
the guns.
I think that could be like the last topic for today because we already talked like actually more than an hour. So I think that could be like the last topic for today, and then we just close the podcast. What do you guys think about that?
What did I think about what? I didn't catch that.
The last topic for today is gonna be like guns, like
guns.
Shotguns,
gun balance, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Shotguns, assault rifles, submachine guns, and handguns and stuff.
I mean, I hope it's not like the shotgun and freaking the recent Insurgency, because it feels like a sniper because I'm sniping people from across the map.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the hell? That shouldn't be happening, I don't think.
Yeah, and using
of course, we've got multiple different, ammunition cartridges we can actually use, of course, and also the range of where we're going to be operating in will be quite small, of course. So it's still
true.
Very, very dangerous. I think maybe even more dangerous than Insurgency now because it's in such close proximity that, every solid hit will be deadly, I think.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Especially buckshots are there, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Talking about shotguns, what I would really love to see is that you can breach doors with a shotgun that you shoot at the door.
It shouldn't matter what shotgun you use, if I'm being honest.
It should matter. It depends what kind of ammunition you use, because buckshot, it's not the best, but you need actually something quite strong to do that, because when you do that, you should kind of shoot out the mechanism of the door, like the closing and opening. And I would love to see that with all the guns, but I think that should be limited to shotguns, so shotguns have like a bigger purpose in the game. Because on the other side, if you use a shotgun and there's like maybe a hostage and the criminal takes the hostage like as a human shield, you don't want to engage the hostage taker with the shotgun. Using shotguns should be limited in the game. Also with every other gun, you should have like specific roles that give you abilities to use these guns. And that's my point of view.
In my opinion, I think shotguns should every damageable shotgun should break doors, or at least breach them.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, in SWAT 4, for example, you had to have a specific shotgun, a breaching shotgun, just to breach the doors.
Oh no!
You cannot do that with the M1014. What?
I was talking about like all the shotguns. They should have like, it's just like depends what ammunition you use.
Well, what if they gave you an option? Like maybe you carry like four shots for like a door, but then you switch it out to like your main ammo. Wouldn't that be kind of good?
Yeah, but I think that should be hard to make. Like every time you just need to reload your whole gun in order to breach a door, because you already have like a round in your chamber. So you technically what you do is like pumping all the time until you got like the shotgun, like the breaching shell I would say call it.
Oh, you mean there's already one in the barrel, so you cannot
Yeah.
take it out
Because
unless
if
you
got two
shoot
different
or.
if you got two different armor types, you need to switch technically you need to switch the rounds that are already in the gun. You couldn't
Yep.
put on all, but still, it's kind of hard to do. To be honest, I think in Armor 3, it's just like you just reload the whole magazine, but also they don't really use shotguns. So
What is good though is the way that Radio Not kind of like adapts that kind of predictory kind of system where if you were to shoot in a firefight, you want to know how much ammunition you have because this could be like a real life or death situation. You take the mag out and you have a feel of it, and you get like a kind of like a prediction to say, oh, it feels half empty, feels full. You know what I mean? You seen that on the when it was shooting in the gas station with the MP5?
Yeah, I saw
when
that.
it took out and he kind of like gave it a little bit of a shake and just predicted how much ammunition he had. He shoved it back in. That was actually a really, really good thing to have. It's
Also,
just different.
Or something like in Escape of Tarkov they did is that if you, I think it was Shift T, or I don't remember, you just can look inside your gun chamber what kind of ammunition you're using right now. That would be nice to see. All right, I think Turgat Happiness, do you want to say something? So
Yes.
Yeah,
I was gonna make you guys continue. So
yeah, good.
For like ammo checking, I know it's obvious for the what was it, the pistols, rifles, and the SMGs. How's the ammo checking gonna work for the shotguns? Are they gonna like check it?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, I think because you're counting in the bullets that you're putting into, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's, but that had to be like a physical thing, like you're actually thinking in your head.
Is it gonna be that checking
I think
that
it'll more be
shell
on
loader?
like gut feeling. I think on obviously checking the loader, of course, how much ammunition you have. But yeah, that's actually a really good, interesting thing of how animation stuff is going to work with obviously checking the ammunition you have in a shotgun. Obviously, depends on the type of shotgun you have, of course. But still, I think it's still pretty much applies same thing for every single one.
I mean, didn't they already settled with just having like one type of ammunition?
For shotguns?
No,
I'm sure
they said there was multiple.
Yeah, no. Yeah, multiple ammunition, but you need to, like, when you need to choose before you start the round what kind of ammunition there is, and afterwards you're not able to change it. I think.
Well, I'm not sure if you can, but if they haven't done this already, this should be good. You should be able to combine ammunition. So your first, of course, you got.
That's kind of dangerous.
No, not combining as shoving random rounds into obviously the load. I'm talking. You have two ammunition types, and of course you have one that's actually reserved, which is of course maybe buckshot or slug or something, and then the primary round you have actually loaded is breaching rounds, or some sort of other round that may be of interest in the operation. I think that'd be actually quite interesting.
Hey, quick thing, didn't they say that like at the beginning of a mission you can get the type of weapons that you want, so you're like standing at the vehicle right there or something? Like, couldn't you just go back and get more ammo and like replace your?
But I
have to wonder if that's a thing.
Not sure about that. If you do something like that in Ready or Not, it should be like you should get point penalties, because it doesn't seem like you really know how to. Like, if you get something like that, it's just like you need to watch your ammunition count. It's just that you don't shoot too much. I mean, for changing bullets, yeah, but.
I was just wondering because I feel like that would be a thing, but I don't know.
Oh, but also this is also something as well. So, talking about guns, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What would be the selection of firearms for high ground? Because high ground can have, of course, AR platform rifles which have high-powered scopes on top and the integrated rail system. They can have, of course, Accuracy International type firearms like the AW Convert, AWP, AWM, Accuracy International weapon, the Magnum variant, all those things, just generic snipers and marksman rifles. How do you think that's going to play out? What kind of stuff do you think we'll see? Because we know there's an M24 being confirmed, so definitely there's going to be high-powered weapons that are going to be coming in.
Yeah, I have to wonder how far high ground is from the mission area.
Probably not that far, really, to be honest, because you have to keep a good eye on most of the platforms and said building or environment.
Because do they really need like a high-powered weapon if they're not that far? Like, I don't.
Well, think about a lot of these high ground units you see even in the armed police nowadays, and special weapons and tactics units. They have very high-powered weapons, but of course, most of them have shortened barrels like the AWP, Accuracy International Weapon Police. Because of course they need to reach, some sort of, kind of barrel length that would be just more useful for them. We're not talking like a soldier who's got maybe some sort of, accuracy international weapon that's got an extended barrel. They won't need that. For a more covert kind of operation, like obviously police snipers especially, you won't want something that long. You want something that's compact but still packs a massive punch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see some of the ATF during the Waco siege, they had things like G3, so like obviously, battle rifles that have been just redesignated as marksman rifles because of course they've got that 308 cartridge that's really, really powerful and packs a massive punch. But of course, it's really helpful to have that high power scope on top because you have now far reach and really, really strong stopping power.
Yeah, that one picture that's on Instagram with the high ground, it's actually showing them like crouched over and looking at something. I can't actually tell what gun that is. Like, it looks tiny to me.
I believe it's an M24.
It could be an M24 because they can fail the M24 in the game, and that's obviously one of the things that maybe on the screen, but you can't really tell from just that image because it's just the quality isn't that great for that one.
Actually, what's called Easy gave us a higher quality image in the Discord a couple months ago.
But yeah, like it doesn't even look like he's holding a rifle. It just looks like he's like pointing it out.
Well, of course, you've got two guys in the high ground team, so of course that may mean that you've got two high ground operators. So you've got Sniper 1 and Sniper 2, but that means one of the snipers out of 1 and 2 can actually be somewhat orienteering the team. So of course he could be saying, we've got a high ground report here. In PvP, I think it may have to be attackers and defenders if you can have high ground, because you can't have a defending high ground team. That would just be a sniper duel while an operation's going on, in the lower floors.
And also another thing, what gives them the permission to just fire at people? Like, because I remember in SWAT 4, you can't just like fire on people without losing points. I get unless like they're actually like aiming a gun at a hostage.
Well, the thing is with high ground, it's a mixture of a form of surveillance and a form of obviously deterrence. Of course, with that, say if someone's firing shots at police officers, high ground can shoot them where the SWAT officers can't, because of course they've got that angle. And of course you've got two snipers as well, so you've obviously got a spotter as well who can do double the work of the actual sniper, because his job is only to pull the trigger. The second high ground man could even have another job. This could be designated for the players as well, because of course high ground, they definitely don't just have snipers. They surely do probably have some sort of long distance gadget that they can use.
Okay. That was actually added in the Elite Force mod. Yeah. Oh, okay, so that was after, so I guess that's not the lore, I guess. I don't know.
It's been more than an hour now. What do you guys think if we just like come to a finish?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we've done all the topics today. We had triggered happiness with this topic. I think we've pretty much got like a good hour of a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, who want to do the closing? Martin, go ahead.
Yeah, but I do want to say again, though, guys, thank you very much for coming onto this podcast and actually listening in. I personally think I'm an absolutely boring person on the podcast, but really, for having people to actually listen to us and taking a lot of things we're saying, that is awesome. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, of course, same routine as usual, 2 p.m. EST every Saturday. If you guys want to come on, talk, contribute. We always have a podcast pre-screening going on, so feel free to contact me, VP, Whiskey, or Durag if you guys want any bit of help for that, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
And to note one thing, we managed on SoundCloud to have 461 views, which is actually quite nice. I wasn't expecting that. That's really nice. All right,
I haven't even advertised it on my channel
either. you could do that, we might.
Yeah, I'll probably do it in the next video.
I mean, for next week, we probably gonna have Vix. She's a streamer, right? I think, yeah, she will probably tune in. And as Martin said, if you guys want to be featured on the podcast, just go ahead, ping one of us, and we just go through the whole procedure of the pre-screening. That's not a big deal. All right, guys. I think,
All right. Have a good one, guys.
See you around.
See you next week.